Good afternoon, I'm Vashon Brown with the Midday News. Special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. A reminder as well that you can watch TVJ live by downloading our One Spot Media app in the Google Play Store or the App Store. That's the number 1 followed by the words Spot Media. The Police Federation is intensifying efforts to speak with the National Security Minister before it takes the route of legal action in relation to new provisions and fines under the Constabulary Force Act. Federation Chairman Sergeant Raymond Wilson confirms that the matter is now a top priority for the group and he's anticipating a meeting soon as a first step to reverse some of the changes. Among other things, the amended provisions include a $250,000 fine for failing to give 6 months' notice for resignations. Sergeant Wilson states that a review is being conducted of other pieces of legislation which were changed based on the provisions of the Zones of Special Operations Act. He wants the matter dealt with at the level of the minister rather than in court.
We're hoping that good sense will prevail. We have sought a meeting with the minister. We wrote a letter to him over the weekend. I think he might have gotten it this morning, asking for an urgent meeting for us to have dialogue about this matter. We'll hope that we are able to meet with the minister sooner than later. Certainly it would be good to have a meeting with the minister before meeting with the members.
Meanwhile, Sergeant Wilson says before legal action is taken, the procedure to be followed will be dependent on the meeting with the minister and the response of the Federation members.
First and foremost, that when we get to the table, there will be some understanding of these positions. And in fact, we do intend to call a meeting with our membership, and the central executive usually depend on a mandate from its members. And certainly we will be calling a meeting of our members, but certainly we consider our stakeholders in those changes, even though we're left out. And for anything that we do, we are not going to do the same. We are going to include who we consider stakeholders.
Amid public backlash, opposition leader and PNP president Dr. Peter Phillips is seeking to clarify comments he made at Sunday's political rally in St. Anne. At the rally, Dr. Phillips said the government's one-seat majority in Parliament could swing due to a number of reasons and that the PNP should get ready to take control of government. Among the reasons he noted was illness. In a statement yesterday, the Jamaica Labour Party criticized Dr. Phillips for his comments. While Dr. Phillips did not mention anyone by name, the party said it was public knowledge that Member of Parliament Derek Smith was ill for a period of time and that he was undergoing intensive treatment. Dr. Phillips said his purpose at the conference was to highlight the need for his party to be prepared for any possible by-election.
Given the slender margins which separate the PNP and the JLP in the Parliament, and to recognize the obvious fact that by-elections could be held at any time. It was certainly not my intention to make light of the illness being suffered by the Honourable Derek Smith. Rather, it was to highlight the uncertainties of the political environment and the need to prepare for any eventuality. If unintentionally I have caused offense to Minister Smith or his family, I apologize unreservedly.
Members of the private sector have reportedly been informed by the management of Kingston Freeport Terminal that normality should return to the wharf by Thursday. Attempts are still being made to clear the pileup of cargo following last week's 3-day strike by haulage contractors. President of the Jamaica Manufacturers Association, Metro Siaga, says he will be seeking a meeting with the management of Kingston Freeport to discuss ways to prevent a repeat of the disruptions. He says the issue of compensation is still under consideration.
Our Deputy President, Richard Pandui, and our membership has been on top of the issue in a real way. And yeah, we are going to assess, and I don't want to say we will be seeking compensation, but we're certainly going to be discussing the matter in detail with the company.
The JMA president was asked what impact the pileup of cargo is having on the manufacturing sector.
We don't expect any shortages of goods and services, no. I think it was probably a little short for that, but certainly there were some financial repercussions. And we'll be going through our membership now to identify exactly what those are.
Truck drivers in Kingston are currently staging a protest. The drivers suspended their services and are parked at the entrance to Petrojam on Marcus Garvey Drive. They're frustrated at what they call the poor representation of the National Workers' Union, NWU.
We haven't had none of our rights amended to. We still have no health insurance, no dental insurance, no vacation pay, no sick leave. All of these things promised to us. We have marketing companies that are threatening the contractors that they will bring new trucks into the country to get rid of us.
They're also demanding answers from the Ministry of Labour.
So we're calling on the Minister of Labour to act with alacrity and to deal with this matter before it gets any worse.
A significant number of strata corporations are still not filing annual returns with the Commission of Strata Corporations. Speaking at a recent JS think tank, the Commission's Inspectorate Manager, Ainsworth Norton, said there has been a worrying trend of non-compliance in the filing of the documents.
We have an average of about 23% of strata corporations filing their annual returns as required by the Registration Strata Titles Act, Section 4.7. Now, that to me is quite a big problem because it doesn't afford us the ability to actually deal with the issues that are prevalent within strata corporations.
Under the Strata Titles Act, strata corporations are required to file annual returns with the Commission.
In 2010, approximately 993 strata corporations were registered with the Commission, and at the end of 2016, it was 1,761. Representing a 77% increase in the number of strata corporations registered with the Commission.
More than a week after the fatal shooting of 17-year-old Mikole Moulton at her home in Trenchtown, St. Andrew, caused the public outrage, investigators are struggling to get information regarding the case. Deputy Superintendent in charge of the Community Safety and Security Branch in the Kingston West Police Division, Jacqueline Henry, says persons have not been providing statements. Other information has been trickling in.
We have not been getting anyone to commit to a statement. We have not been getting the information as we would like to get. That would assist us in pursuing those who are responsible. Nonetheless, we are still engaging the community, and I am again appealing to the community to tell us what they know.
Mikole was a recent graduate of the school. Her 12-year-old sister, a student of the Immaculate Conception High School, was also shot in the incident. Shortly after 4 o'clock on the morning of August 6, the girls were asleep at their home when gunmen opened fire on them through a window. And the police have planned interventions in the community in the wake of the shooting of the two teenagers.
We have a constant presence in the area, and with our regular patrols, the Community Safety and Security Branch, of which I am in charge of, we will be having a widely publicized meeting. We'll be bringing in our partners, Victim Support Division, to engage the community. Also, regular feature that we have is our weekly walkthroughs. We will be continuing with those initiatives.
The University Hospital of the West Indies has received well-needed equipment which is expected to provide better eye care treatment for patients. The details in this report.
To answer the call for improved healthcare, the LDS Charities of the Church of Jesus Christ has presented the eye clinic at the University Hospital of the West Indies with an Optical Coherence tomogram machine. The OCT equipment will be used to provide eye doctors with an image of the retina in the back of a patient's eye and will therefore help with overall eye treatment at the hospital. Speaking at the handover ceremony, the hospital's Chief Executive Officer, Kevin Allen, said in addition to receiving the new Optical Coherence tomogram machine, there will be exciting new developments at the UHWI.
In the near future, we are about to sign off on a contract to purchase a mammography unit in the amount of $587,000 US, a 3D technology bit of equipment, and we want to share this with the people of Jamaica. We are also in the process of finalizing a contract to purchase a digital X-ray unit. That also is on hand, and the last bit of news is an interventional suite costing some $2 million US. We are in the process of finalizing that contract with Philips International.
UHWI Board Chairman James Solomon says the new equipment will serve to improve healthcare in Jamaica.
Optical coherence tomogram is going to help us in bringing first-class care to the entire country of Jamaica, because it is not in every hospital in Jamaica that you can have some of the more advanced treatments done.
Meanwhile, head of medicine at the UHWI, Dr. Earl Bruce, noted the positive aspects of the OCT machine.
It comes with immediate feedback with the video displays and the pictorial displays. That's excellent for teaching and research. So we're very happy to have this equipment.
Simone Golding reporting for TVJ News.
Residents of Dias in Hanover are pleading for assistance for 80-year-old Nedrick Gilpin, an amputee for 3 years. Mr. Gilpin is not able to properly move around. The residents say he lives alone, so there is no one to assist him. Mr. Gilpin is pleading for assistance that would make it easier for him to move around within the community.
How long since you have been like this in the community?
This is 3 years now.
What would you want corporate Jamaica to do for you at this time?
Anything can do for me.
What would you need?
Anything.
Such as?
Anything.
What about a wheelchair?
Anything.
So you don't afraid something hit you on the street?
No.
A concerned resident says though she is from another community, Mr. Gilpin's condition is hard to ignore.
Yeah. But how it feel to see him walking on the street like this?
When I see him up there, so I feel bad. Because it could be my grandfather too.
Nobody to take care of him?
And we go now to news overseas. Sierra Leone has been gripped by grief after massive mudslides occurred near the capital city of Freeport. Authorities have recovered the bodies of 205 people, and the number is expected to rise, with more than 1,000 others affected. We go to the CNN for more.
You'll be struck by how all the houses are built in sort of a terrain that goes uphill, and it's the most beautiful sight in the sunshine. But because of the torrential rains that Sierra Leone has been having, the Mount Sugarloaf simply gave way and carried with it all the earth early on Monday morning when people would have been asleep. At the moment, Abubakar Tarawali, the communications guy for the Red Cross in Freetown, is telling us that they have now recovered more than 300 bodies. And it is a fact as well that many of these bodies were dragged down for more than a mile. So rescue efforts are recovering not just bodies, but limbs of people and awful, I'm sorry, so early in the morning, but decapitated people. And the rescue efforts is hampered by the lack of equipment. I spoke to the Red Cross last night. They said they've only got 2 diggers to try and excavate the fallen buildings. And don't forget, the rain is still falling. So even if you are trying to dig people out, the mud will simply suck you down like quicksand. So at the moment, it's very, very important that they get as much help as they can. And we are also learning that the city of Bo, which is Sierra Leone's second city, has also had heavy rain overnight. But luckily for that city, it lies on a far more flat terrain.
And we go now to sports. Head coach Maurice Wilson and the injured Anisha McLaughlin-Wilby were among a group of athletes and coaches who returned to the island from the World Championship on Monday.
An altercation between Stephanie Ann McPherson and Sharika Jackson was followed by McPherson pulling out of the women's mile relay, citing injury, with Anisha McLaughlin-Wilby replacing her. McLaughlin-Wilby pulled up with a grade 2 tear during her second leg, and the concern was raised that she was not properly warmed up. But head coach Maurice Wilson, who also conditions McLaughlin will be at Spring Tech, dismissed the notion, blaming a long wait in a cold call room as contributing to her injury.
Well, the information I received from the technical director is that McPherson was down to run, and when they were at the track, he was informed that she had picked up some form of injury. So we had to make a last-minute replacement with Anisha. I felt that she had enough time to warm, but they kept them a very long time, similar to what happened with the 4x100 meters men. In the car room, almost 30 minutes, and it was extremely cold, and I think that contributed to her injury.
Jamaica ended the World Championships with one of its lowest medal hauls, 1 gold and 3 bronze. But Coach Wilson argued that there was no need for panic.
We have to start by putting the systems and regulations in place to govern how our track and field must be run when we are in a national setup. That is one. Secondly, there are things that we used to do before that contributed to the success of some of our stars that we presently, that are basically exiting the sport, and we need to put those systems back in place.
Also returning on Monday afternoon was 400-meter finalist Demish Gay, who announced that he has shut down his season. Gay was previously announced as a member of the World University Games. The coaching staff was forced to rest him during the heats of the men's 4x400 meter relays as he experienced some discomfort after the finals of the 400 meters. Jamaica then failed to advance to the relay final, but Gay was philosophical about the outcome.
It would have been different results, but as I said, it's track and field, things happen, so can't blame anybody.
The bulk of Jamaica's team to the World Championships have remained in Europe to fulfill commitments on the Diamond League circuit. Karen Madden, TVJ Sports.
And that's the Midday News. I'm Vashon Brown. Join us at 7 for Primetime News Package. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, have a good afternoon.